somebody's way back there, come up by me over here, and there's a bit room to this side. That way, you're not staying so far back. You can even lean over here and have a look. It's open space right over here, folks. So you can come up closer or come right by the stone. What I will do is describe each stone, telling you a little bit about the image on it, what it means, and a bit about the person buried here and how they relate to our story. Tomorrow, if anybody comes here in the daylight, or if you visit old graveyards in your home communities, you may recognize some of these symbols I'll be explaining. The stone before me, 1720, was carved in Boston. In the early days, there were no stone carvers in Nova Scotia. A man named Nathaniel Ems from Boston carved the stone. The image, that of a skull, a skull with wings. It's called a winged death head. The skull at the top represents death or mortality. The wings on both sides of the skull, the transitory nature of life. And on the side, there's a little flowering scroll coming up from the ground. That represents a hope for rejuvenation, life after death. Now, the woman who's buried here, her name is Bethia Douglas. Her husband Samuel was an officer at the fort. When she passed away, stone carver in Boston wrote, "Here lies the body of Bethia Douglas." He spelled it D-U-G-L-A-S-S, and I missed the little O. Wife to Samuel, again Douglas, D-U-G-L-A-S-S. So up here, looks like somebody carved a little O like an early hypo rather than refacing the whole stone. And for dying, it states, who departed this life the 1st of October, 1720, in the 37th year of her age. So she was 37, buried here. Samuel married a second time. His second wife, Rebecca, is buried just beside. She has a larger stone, but a bit poorer quality marker. There is no image here. The front facing has broken off. I've seen no picture of that stone in a book from the 1890s when it was still intact. The image on it was that of a skeleton holding an hourglass and a sickle like the Grim Reaper. So again, morbid symbolism, which was common for that time. But what is peculiar about Rebecca? She died 20 years later, 1740, age 37. Wow. So he married a third time. His third wife, Anna, is not buried here. No, she outlived him. She's actually buried in Boston. And Samuel died here in 1744. But his third wife, Anna, did not buy him a gravestone, so he's buried somewhere here in an unmarked grave. Well, this stone, 1720, Bethia Douglas, is the oldest tombstone in Nova Scotia. It was actually put here 29 years before Halifax was started as our capital city. I do quickly want to mention it, if you folks do come here tomorrow, even in the daytime, most of these stones are quite difficult to read. But we're lucky. In 1923, when our Historical Association was only 4 years old, one of our members, Charlotte Isabella Perkins, walked through this graveyard. She wrote down on paper all the inscriptions. She did a little sketch of all the images. So, I mean, I don't know them all by heart, but anybody who has an ancestor buried in here with a grave marker, you can do genealogy to the works of Charlotte Perkins that are in the Fort Anne Library and at the Odell Museum on Lower St. George Street, the local archival center.